Hello, and welcome to Boomer and Beyond Wellness and the Have It Your Way workout series. I'm Angela Fischetti. So today's deep dive is into an exercise called the waiter's curl. Now, currently, these days, we refer to these folks as servers. So you get the idea, but man, do I have a history with waitressing way back in the 80s, and I completely understand why this exercise is called the waiter's curl. So the accessories we'll be using today will be a sticky yoga mat. I'm using my Fit ball. If you don't have one, a 9-inch Pilates ball will do. A pair of adjustable wrist weights. I'll be using 5-pound wrist weights, and then one dumbbell, and I'll be using today a 12-pound weight. Now, before I go any further, we want to get into the medical disclaimers and precautionary measures. So a blanket statement: if you have any health condition at all that is considered a chronic health condition, please do not participate immediately when you watch the video. I want you to watch it first, preview, before participating. And look for what you can do. However, if you're unsure, then I would invite the medical healthcare practitioner who knows your body best to preview the video as well to help you make an informed decision. Now, specific to this video, if you have a latex allergy, please be careful. You want to look for non-latex or latex-free when it comes to the exercise mat, a yoga mat, and also the Pilates ball or your 9-inch, or the Fit ball. So be very careful with that, folks. Now, continuing on, I'm going to say the biggest concern here would be for those of you with carpal tunnel syndrome. Because with carpal tunnel syndrome, you need to avoid this wrist position, and this wrist position, no matter the position of the arms, is a wrist extension. That is the core of this exercise. So therefore, there's plenty of other bicep exercises on the channel that you can choose from, so I invite you to go there. Additionally, if you have arthritic hands, well, listen, this is where the wrist weights can be very helpful for you. And then finally, for those of you with golfers or tennis elbow, that would be medial epicondylitis or lateral epicondylitis, I can't offer you a modification because the symptoms are quite unique to each individual. So please seek further advice from your medical doctor if this is an appropriate exercise for you. Now, the muscles that are activated with this exercise, wow, I really feel it in my biceps, but in particular, the long head of what's called the biceps brachii. It's also a little bit of work in the short head, and then we have quite a bit of work on your core. You're going to really feel this in particular in the transverse abdominis muscle, which is real deep to the belly button. It kind of wraps around. So this acts as your internal girdle, your internal corset. Then we also have the brachialis muscle involved, moving a little further down into the forearm area. We have the brachioradialis as well as those forearm flexor muscles. And then we also have involved here the shoulder stabilizers. Now, the activities of daily living that are benefited from this exercise would be pulling, lifting, carrying, for example, your groceries, right? It's great for grip and forearm strength, so very helpful just to turn a doorknob or to open up the lid, that pesky lid on a jar. Excellent for you. Now, couple of gentle reminders. Always feel free to stop and rest whenever you need to. This is not a full workout, but it is a good tip. Also, do make sure that you keep yourselves properly hydrated with water. Unless you've been medically advised not to drink a lot of water, maybe for kidney or bladder issues, whatever it is, you follow that advice. Now, on the channel, I want you to look for a video that's for both warming up and cooling down. You can interchange the movements. It is important for those of us 55 years and above to warm up for a full 10 minutes prior to any workout. Now I'm going to ask you to go to the post tab on the channel, and you want to look for the link to the RPE chart, Rating of Perceived Exertion. And this is basically a chart that is working on a subjective scale between 0 through 10, and I do advise the demographic of Boomer and Beyond Wellness to work out at an RPE between 3 and 6. It could be a very excellent tool for those of you who don't know how to take your training heart rate. Maybe you have a pacemaker, or maybe you're taking certain medications like beta blockers. And I do advise my private clients to copy that RPE chart and show it to your, particularly if there are heart issues, to your cardiologist and ask them for the suggested RPE. I have to tell you that my client's cardiologist was actually tougher than I am. So that's what I'm saying. You might want to show it to them and get further advice, but it's an excellent tool for you. And then also, while you're there in the post tab, you want to look for a link to whether it be a reference article or a reference study. I always provide them for the Have It Your Way workout series. There will also be a reference image as well as reference screenshots. Now, what are we going to do here today with this waiter's curl? Well, we're going to do one set. Typically, a set is a group of 8 to 15 repetitions, though I'm getting closer and closer to telling you 8 to 12 repetitions based on the changes that are happening now and what I'm reading. But for the moment, 8 to 15 repetitions, and we'll definitely do 15 reps. And the first 5 repetitions will be with, I'll be using my fit ball. Maybe you're going to use your 9-inch Pilates ball. Then the second round will be with the fit ball, in addition to my adjustable wrist weights. So this is where it can be very helpful to have those wrist weights for arthritic hands. And then for the final 5 repetitions, I'm going to work with that 12-pound dumbbell. Now, before we go any further, let's review an athletic ready stance. So you place your hands to the inside of your high hip bones. So these are called the iliac crest. You don't want to go on the outside. Fingers point straight down. Then I look down. I'm going to line up to my knees down to my ankles. Toes, same line as each other. One thing I want to advise you about, please, particularly for the females in the house, is to avoid tipping the pelvis forward into an anterior pelvic tilt. We don't want to do that. You just want to have a subtle posterior pelvic tilt, and it's also known as a pelvic tuck. So let's begin. We're going to grab the ball here, folks. So it's helpful to stretch your fingers wide apart under the ball and elbows alongside you. Now, here's why I'm not a fan of this for those of you with carpal tunnel, because we're lifting here with a wrist extension. Woo! Does this really get into the belly of the muscle? And you want to breathe in and out through the nose. And you always want to pause at the peak of the contraction right here. Inhale to lower, exhale on the effort to lift. And now we're going to lower down and place the ball down. And I'm going to grab my wrist weights. And the ball might roll away a little bit because the AC is on. I am in South Florida. It gets hot. Okay. So, and I just really encourage you all to get yourselves adjustable wrist weights to help you with the process of leveling up, particularly later in life. And I could say it because I'm going to be 68. Now, athletic ready, and up they go, and here's that wrist extension, and slowly down. We don't want to pull back to go up, folks, so we don't want to do that because I've seen a lot of that online, particularly with people trying to work with super heavy weight. We don't want to do that. And curl up, pause. It's also excellent for those forearm muscles we talked about, your wrists. Pause. I'm going to go for an extra repetition here with you. Exhale up and slowly down. Now we're going to remove the wrist weights. You're going to hear the Velcro. That's the way it goes. And I'm going to grab my 12-pound dumbbell. And I really, really enjoy creating these videos for you because I'm increasing my own, what I call exercise vocabulary for my own workouts. Pause. Yeah, I moved my elbows a little too far forward just then. Right. Exhale up, and yeah, I'm going to do an extra rep. And exhale, pause at the peak, and slowly lower. So that's what we have for you today, folks, here at Boomer and Beyond Wellness. Please subscribe. You know the drill. Subscribe, give it a kind comment. Don't forget to hit that notification bell and share the videos with as many people that you think could benefit from them. And until next time, eat your greens, eat your beans, drink your water, and thank you so much for your support.